Record. I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the Board of Selectmen for Friday, October 6, 2023. And we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, everybody. We have two short items on the agenda. The first is we're actually bringing back from the table an item. So I'll make a motion that we approve the installation of new mini splits for the IT server room at a cost of not to exceed $40,000. You have a second for discussion? Second. Okay, so we went through this. It was really good. The questions that were asked at the last meeting. We had a chance to kind of go through everything once again, just to make sure our I's were dotted and T's were crossed. Edgerton, we did not consider because they were not ready to put it on the roof for us. So that was out. And that really brought it down to the two bids, ESC and B&D. Both bids were similar because when we went back and looked at the roof mounting for ESC, it brought the bids equal in value to $30,535 for ESC and $30,533 for B&D. The other part that had to be included, of course, was the extra work and wiring to get it up on the roof. And if we did it with ESC, that would have been a $6,800 charge. If we did it with B&D, it was roughly two charges, one of I think $4,700 and one of $1,295. At the end of the day, when if we did the same electrical work with either place, both bids are within $2 of each other.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't have this breakdown the other day.
No, we did not.
Yeah, so it,
Yeah.
right.
And it was a little confusing like, how it would work. But at the end of the day, if we use Rogers Electric, and I forget the name of the other company, offshore to do the work on the top of the building, it makes those bids equal. B&D was $2 less. My understanding is it might even be a local place. And I'll turn over to you if you want to add anything to that, Eric, but I didn't have a chance to review the questions asked of both of those. And it sounds like that they were all to your satisfaction.
Yeah, so, yeah, sorry, Rich, the other day, but you didn't have this table on this together because hopefully this clarifies.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So, yeah, there were a lot of complications to it. So, yeah, I agree with what Dan just said. The other, besides B&D being the low bidder by $2, the other advantage, they are local. They are also the ones who came up with the idea to put it on the roof. So that's something to consider because after they came up with that idea, we went back to the other two bidders and asked them whether they would consider doing that, because the current unit, I don't know if you probably can see it out this window here, is mounted on the wall, which makes it very difficult to service. And we were going to have two of them. Now it's just going to complicate things even further.
No.
The roof up there, I went up there myself with Greg to see what it's like. It's very flat. There's plenty of space, so it makes a lot more sense to roof mount it for long-term maintenance. And I think that's all I wanted to add, Dan. So that's why we recommend going with B&D.
Okay.
And then, like, just to add, we have Roger Electric for the electrical work, which we know them very well, and offshore roofing for the roofing work. That's just a really small piece. They're just basically patching a hole in the roof that needs to be created for all the connections that come through. Both of those firms we work with a lot. Offshore actually does roof maintenance for this building as well as a lot of our other buildings. So we're very comfortable with all three bidders. We know them all well.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Yep.
No. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And seeing none opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
Just one thing, Dan, did you want to add to that it's recommended to the Board of Finance to come out of a capital non-recurring?
You know, I forgot to do that, didn't I? So how do we handle that? Can we amend a motion that we've already taken?
Yeah, I don't
Actually,
think it's going to be a problem. Just
Actually,
make it on the record.
I'll do it legally. You ready for this?
Well, wait a minute, Dan, one other thing too. I don't think you actually said in your motion that you're going to award the proposal to B&D.
Okay, so
on the table, I'd like to make a motion to reconsider the previous vote. All in favor? Aye. Okay, not opposed, so motion reconsider, and we can do that because both of us voted in favor of the motion. So I make a motion that we approve the installation of new mini split blinds for the IT server room,
Not to exceed.
not to exceed $40,000. And we recommend that that B and D do the installation, and we will forward this to the Board of Finance with a recommendation to come out of capital non-recurring. For a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan and Rich.
No problem.
The next on the agenda, I'm just gonna make a motion for consideration of the assessment change due to litigation for 36 St. Patty's Lane West for Joseph and Melissa Wax.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so I'd like to turn it over to our tax assessor.
We had our 2022 reval, and during that reval, we had valued 36 Patty's Lane West at $1,008,500. That was appealed towards the BAA, and at that point, when they went to the BAA, that assessment got changed to $990,600 based on the location. You know, Aunt Patty's Lane West is a little bit of a windy road. Mixed, you know, kind of properties on that road. They then went to suit. They filed an appeal with the state of Connecticut on, I can tell you, July 11th, no, sorry. May 18th, 2023. They filed an appeal. We have since with Martha Kalina, we have, you know, negotiated back and forth. And we have come to a settlement of $890,000 market value. That will change their assessment to $623,000, which will then make their taxes for this current year $17,711.89. The original, I'll just give you was, excuse me, $19,713.93. That's a difference of $2,002.04. So that is what
Okay.
we are here for.
Pretty straightforward. Now the way, Marty, I just want to make sure I understand this. For us, the motion is to accept the settlement.
Yes, to approve the settlement of,
Okay,
According to our town charter.
okay.
she is, the assessor explained that rather well, but you should be aware of the reason why it's worth settling. And I'm not trying to pile on here, but the reason why it's worth settling is the next step is Danbury doesn't do assessment appeals. They'll go ahead and that's where the actions are sent to. And then what happens is if they don't settle, then what they do on their own motion, they'll send it to New Britain. So what'll happen is we'll be paying for an attorney to go back and forth to New Britain and also our assessor, and it gets to be rather expensive and very time consuming. So for what's involved here, I think it's rather peanuts. We're better off settling this thing for the amount that's involved. It's not going to have a major effect on our budgets or anything. So.
And they have already referred them over to New Britain.
Yeah,
Just-
see, oh, okay,
But most times you don't want to use Danbury. You want to go to New Britain because they understand the tax laws for
right.
The difference is $2,000.
$2,002.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve the settlement in the case of Joseph and Melissa Lax, co-trustees of the Lax Living Trust versus the town of Bethel of $890,000. I have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Marty, did that motion work?
Yeah, that's the fair market value of 890. And then you might want to mention with an assessed value of, what is it, how much is it, Izzy? What would the assessed value be?
$623,000.
There you go.
So at the end, so I can do that at the, I'll amend the motion at the very end of the motion, just add on with an assessed value of $623,000.
Second.
Excellent. Can you read that back, Mary, just to make sure?
To approve the settlement recording for Joseph and Melissa Lax versus the town of Bethel for the fair market value of $890,000 and the assessed value of $623,000.
Excellent. Great. All in favor?
Aye.
And none opposed, the motion carries. And I believe that's all the business we have to take care of. I entertain a motion to adjourn,
So, second.
and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We stand adjourned. Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.